Malaga Island, a small stretch of land off the coast of Phippsburg, Maine, became a haven in the mid-19th century for a unique and resilient community. At a time when racial segregation and discrimination defined much of American life, the island offered a place of relative safety and autonomy for Black, white, and mixed-race individuals seeking safety, independence, and community. The people of Malaga lived in modest wooden homes built by hand, relying on their environment and one another to survive. The island's proximity to the Atlantic shaped nearly every aspect of daily life. Many of the men were fishermen who rose with the sun to cast nets and tend lobster traps in the surrounding waters. Fishing was both a trade and a tradition, passed down from father to son, essential not only for income but for food security and identity. Women played an equally vital role. They managed the homes, raised the children, and cultivated small gardens to supplement their diets. Many also wove baskets, prepared goods for trade, or worked seasonally on the mainland when opportunities allowed. Children learned early how to contribute, helping with chores, tending animals, or even joining their parents on the water. Families were large, multi-generational, and deeply rooted in shared experience. Their days were marked by hard work, but also by laughter, storytelling, and moments of communal joy. The community valued education and built a one-room schoolhouse where children learned reading, writing, and arithmetic. The school also functioned as a community center, a place for gathering, worship, and passing down traditions. In a world that often excluded them, Malaga's residents built something of their own, grounded in cooperation, dignity, and quiet strength. But as the 20th century approached, the state of Maine's perspective on Malaga Island began to change. The growing tourism industry and elite interest in Maine's coastal beauty clashed with the state's perception of Malaga's residents as poor, racially mixed, and socially undesirable. Influenced by the eugenics movement and class prejudice, public officials began to view the island not as a community, but as a problem. In 1911, under the pretext of public health concerns and land development, the state enforced eminent domain and ordered the removal of all residents. The eviction was abrupt and devastating. Homes were torn down or burned, belongings were left behind, and families were scattered. Some were forced to find shelter wherever they could, while others were institutionalized at the Maine School for the Feeble-Minded, simply for being poor or perceived as different. The state's actions weren't just physical, they were psychological and cultural. By labeling the community as deficient and unfit, the government stripped residents not only of their homes, but of their humanity in the public record. Malaga Island was cleared, and for decades, its history was silenced. But silence does not erase truth. In recent years, efforts have emerged to reclaim this lost chapter of Maine's history. Descendants of Malaga's residents, along with historians, educators, and community advocates, have worked to uncover and preserve the island's story. Through archival research, oral histories, and public acknowledgement, the truth of Malaga Island is finally being told. The state of Maine has issued formal apologies, and organizations such as Maine Coast Heritage Trust have preserved the island as a site of remembrance. Museums now feature exhibits on Malaga. Educational programs ensure future generations learn about the injustice and the lives once erased. In 2010, a memorial marker was placed on the island, honoring those who once called it home. Malaga Island's legacy is not one of defeat, but of endurance. It's a story of people who, in the face of exclusion and erasure, created community, raised families, and thrived. Today, their story stands as a reminder that telling the truth, even generations later, is an act of justice. Their story was nearly lost, but it will not be forgotten.